Hi, and welcome back to the Stitchcraft Queen podcast. My name is Mary, the Stitchcraft Queen, and today is Monday, April 27th of 2026. Excuse me, sorry. Usually I want to film this on like the very first of the new month or at the very couple of last days of the old month, so I'm filming this a few days earlier than I wanted, but we do have some upcoming out of towns, and my husband has to work some weekends, and so this is the best time for us to do it. So yeah, not quite as much done as I had liked, but I still got a lot done this month, and I'm excited to show off my progress. So we will start with our finished objects. I actually have 3 finished objects today. So excited, and then I have a couple of new cast-ons later on as well. So first we have our 2 Musselburgh hats. This one is the Dune one, and these ones are my hats for March and April. There we go. So we got them done. This one is my Dune hat made with Knit Circus. And the color was Fear is the Mind Killer. Love that. Or was it Spice Must? I have 2. It's either the Spice Must Flow. I think this one is the Spice Must Flow. Fear is the Mind Killer is the other one. Haven't blocked these, but this is essentially what they look like. Unfortunately, this one ended up being way too big for my head, even just trying it on. But it fits my husband's head perfectly. My husband has a larger than average head size, and so he was very happy when this one fit him. So I will be blocking this, but this is what it looks like. It does have a little brim. I basically just knit this until the yarn ran out. I only had I think 5 grams left at the end, so we were kind of playing yarn chicken almost. But yeah, when we block it too, this little nubby thing at the top will go away. So yeah, and then it will look a lot nicer. But that is finished object numero uno. And then my second one is this was Woolen Woman Fiber. I believe the colorway was the Greatest Yarny Adventure. It was a Nitty Natty colorway that they did. And then the other one right here, which matches so perfectly. I just love how the colors blend. And some of that color, this pretty kind of blue-green, or a very close one, is in some of the kind of randomness of this color. But this one is Nerdy Knits, and it is Cinder Sap. It's one of their Stardew Valley colorways, and this was on one of their new bases, which had, I believe it was a little bit of cashmere in it. Fingering held double, and then the green is the DK. I always have to spin them around so that they even out. And then fold the brim up. And that's what this one looks like. This one is just a tiny bit bigger for my head than I would like. It still fits very well and snug, but I think that when I block it, if I just stretch it almost taller, I feel like it'll block to what I want. But that's what it looks like. Love it. Finished object number 2. After those 2, I am a little Musselburgh hatted out because I have made 4 right in a row, and then before that, during my pregnancy, really the only thing that I made was matching Musselburgh hats for me, my husband, and my daughter. She has already outgrown hers, believe it or not. Babies grow so fast, but that was fun to wear them all together a couple times. So we will be doing a different hat for the next couple months. And then my last cast on, so I have had these Wool in the Gang kits sitting. When we were in Colorado, they were under my bed because that was the best place they fit. And my yarn closet, as we called it because it was filled with yarn, was full. So they were under the bed there, and then we put them in my closet space here for my yarn. And they've just been sitting on top of my boxes, just sitting there because I knew I wanted to get them out of my stash. And so finally, when I finished the hats and I had a little bit of extra knitting time because I didn't want to just knit 2 blankets, and that'd be like what I knit the rest of the month. So I started working on this. This is the cardigan. I believe it's the Eelba cardigan, and these are collabs with Hope Macaulay, I want to say. Probably totally butchered her name. She was an Irish designer, I want to say. That did a bunch of like color blocking and color work. It's very pretty. The color isn't shining through quite as brightly, but this is like a bright, almost Kelly green, and then navy blue, and then a nice kind of lilac-y lavender color. But yeah, and all of hers, they have like these stitch designs. I opted out of doing those. But yeah, and then I did make some changes. I actually was going to finish this a lot earlier, and then I decided the needles they give you are absolutely garbage. The joins are like little skinny, and then they like go up really, really quick, and then they're kind of like skinny again, and then they go back up. And so you have to get the loops over essentially 2 bumps, and it's not smooth at all. It goes from like metal to wood, and so it's really hard to like move the stitches. And so that is like part of the reason that this took. I could have gotten this done probably in half the time, but a good chunk of it was moving stitches, which does suck. So for the sleeves, I decided to, because they also want you to knit the sleeves just back and forth, and I didn't want to seam. I hate seaming. If you watched any of my previous like cardigan videos, like my fisherman cardigans, I did the sleeves in the round there as well, because I just hate seaming. So I opted for doing these in the round, which meant I had to order a shorter needle. Luckily, ChiaoGoo had the perfect size. It was a 24-inch, and I was worried it was gonna be just a little too big. But these are pretty big balloon sleeves, so I was able to knit all the way up till the very last decrease. And then I just did magic loop for the last decrease and then the cuff. So that was one of the changes I made. The other change was this cuff was supposed to be knit in just stockinette, but all of the other edges, like this bottom, is knit in garter, and so I decided to match them. Just 6 rounds of garter, not too bad. And one other change that I made is this edge right here, which does curl. I don't know, we'll see how much I wear it. Which it will be more in the winter when I just want a cute, chunky, colorful cardigan. But I might go back and do like a garter, just like it could be like even like 2 or 3 stitches of garter just all the way around, like the button band essentially. I did not weave that end in. Oh no, I did. I thought this was the end that you could see on camera. I did weave all my ends in even, which was a big accomplishment. But anyways, they wanted this to just be a raw selvage edge, and so I did, it's kind of hard to see, but I did a slip one with yarn in front on the inside edges, and it's on both sides. Hard to see with the navy blue, but you can see it here, and I did it all the way down, including on the garter ridges, or the garter rows. So that is my finished object. I finished this just a couple days ago, and I haven't even put it in Ravelry because it was so quick of a knit. I think I knit the back body in 2 days, and then each side took me a day, and then the sleeves I got done in like a day and a half for both of them once the needles arrived. So very quick knit. It is very chunky yarn. It did also remind me why I hate chunky yarn. It does hurt your hands knitting with such giant needles. So I do have, like I said, one more. It is a actual like crew sweater, so fully closed in the front. That one I do kind of just want to cast it on, but I was looking at the instructions. It is a little more like advanced, and the instructions for these are pretty garbage. It's like it's written out instead of like in like a normal pattern. It will just say like knit, like, and they're listed in numerical steps, so like it's just pretty garbage how Wool the Gang rates their patterns. I do have like a little soft spot for them because it is how I learned to knit. I bought their hat kit that came with essentially 3 separate hat patterns, and you just knit a rectangle and then seamed on one side and then closed up the top and cinched it, and then you could add a pom-pom. And the videos that they taught to knit were very good, and I think that for me, just not knowing, because I learned how to crochet through the Woobles kit as well, so not really knowing what I needed at that time, I think that it was the best option for me. But looking back, I think I would have like rather gone to a yarn store if I knew that those even like existed besides Michael's and Rip Joann's. But I would have rather gone there and gotten like a like DK or worsted weight and done a hat that way, because it would have been a lot cheaper to buy even like one of the nicest skeins of yarn in a yarn store, like the nicest needles, and then buy a really good pattern. And then there's so many free YouTube tutorials. But they did teach me how to knit, so I do have a little bit of a soft spot for them when it comes to that. But yeah, I did knit it's like called the Aine vest or something, AINE, I think is how it's pronounced or spelled. And I wear that one all the time, especially over like a black long sleeve shirt during the winter. Obviously this winter was a little different because we were inside like 24/7 with the baby. But last winter I wore all the time. And that one is a wool, and the Gang one as well. So I do have quite a bit of like leftover chunky yarn that I like maybe was going to crochet into a smaller like baby blanket for someone at some point. But I might just make another like scrappy vest with it almost, because I feel like I would wear that a lot more. But anyways, that's my 3 finished objects, and I even have updated my knitting journal, except for the wool and the Gang one. I will update that one a little bit later. Hi, BB. Can you lay down? Or you can sit. That works too. Yeah, now we can move on to, let's do old projects first, and then we can go on to our new projects. So let me start the one I did the least amount of work on, and that's because I really just knit on this one at night. Me and my husband, I used to pump for 30 minutes. I would have to do it at 10 o'clock. That was the only time that it would work. BB, I need you to lay down. Can you lay down? Very good. I used to have to do it at 10 o'clock, and then my pumps go for 30 minutes and they shut off automatically. But we would go in and watch a couple episodes of One Piece, and I would knit on this in the dark because this is the easiest. But it is my row 1 blanket. It's called, the actual pattern name is like I always mispronounce it. It's like Hammerschwing. It's by Stephen West on my Ravelry project page. I didn't do a ton on this one. I didn't even finish a pack. This is where I was at last time. I did finish that one, did 2 colors, and started the next one. I was really hoping to get this one done, and I am going to put some work into it in the next couple days to get at least this pack done by the start of the month. But yeah, for now we will move my little chicken charm up here. If I can hook onto the garter, we'll have to go right here. Boop. And this one is fingering held double. The thing that's awesome about row 1, so they ship like this, and so at first I was like, oh, it's just gonna be like a little like hank of yarn essentially. But when you open them up, they're actually like a mini cake. And so it's really easy. You can pull from the outside and the inside. Don't have to cake them up or anything. So super easy and fun. So we love that. This one too, I decided a little bit ago that I am going to be, instead of doing my, they're in this closet, that's why I'm pointing there, but my Polka Dot Creek yarn bouquets, instead of putting those in their own blanket, I'm just going to add them to this blanket, and it'll just be like a minis blanket. I do also have some minis from sock sets that I have torn apart so I can make hats from them instead. And I have them in the closet with the rest of the row 1s as well, so we'll be adding those in as well. So it'll kind of just be a random mini blanket, which I think I will enjoy. And then I don't have to keep buying yarn. I can just get, more yarn out of my stash, because that is the goal of this month. or not this month, the next couple years really. I want to get my stash down to a more reasonable amount because I have a lot. Okay, next project is my Beatles Battenberg blanket. I was able to get the whole month added in. This one is Savory Truffle by Sunday Fiber Co. And it's a really pretty like jewel green. That one is Hey Jude by Wool and Vinyl. I almost said Wool and the Gang. I'm like, that is very incorrect. But there it is. Again, the color is not coming through quite as beautiful as it is in person. This one is much more pink. And then this one, it actually shows up pretty well on camera with the kind of jewel tone. But that was this month, so it's getting, it's starting to get decent size. Each month it gets a little bit bigger. The next month, I actually already caked them all up this month and next month because I wanted to get some more out. But the yarn that we'll add, this is the adding yarn. It's more of a pink. There's like pink and then a little bit of brown in it. Again, very hard to see on camera. It kind of just looks like bleh on camera, but very pretty in person. But that will be the adding color. And then the color that will be on the end, this one I know is Revolution. At least I believe it is, by Wool and Vinyl. The little cards are inside. Right now I put them inside so I know which color they are. I knew this one and then I don't. And then the next colors are for next month. I already caked up so that I can get them started once I finish these ones. Because I probably would have gotten further on squares for next month. Or at least started them. But I did not want to cake up yarn because it's a whole process. And then I have a baby. So it takes a lot of effort now to cake yarn up. So I try to do it, in big chunks. But yeah, I'm still really enjoying that one. With the individual squares, I make those first. Those I try to do 10 a day. It takes me about an hour-ish. And then 10 a day when I'm at home all day, so when I'm not working. And then the bigger squares, I have to add in like about 5 a day because it does take it's a whole extra round when you're adding them in and it does take some time. So it takes longer. So I usually can get that done in about half of the month. When I was I had finished the Beatles stuff and then I had gotten to a stopping point where I was waiting for my needles to arrive on my Wool and Vinyl, I cast on a new project that has been sitting in my closet for almost 2 years now, actually. And I'm very excited about this one. And I have changed quite a bit about this pattern, and I will tell you why and what I have changed. But this is I believe it's called Mayday Tea. I forgot the designer's name. But it is supposed to be made in a broken rib. I did a full rib on mine because I want the reason I am I'm doing it this way is because I want it to look like Yuffie from Final Fantasy VII. She has like the cutest green sweater that she wears, and I want one so bad. I wanted it for a couple years now, and I was like, well, I could like spend a lot of money and buy one, but I was like, no, I have the skills now, I can make it. So this is the pattern I thought looked most like it, and then when I actually do the pattern, I'm just going to make the collar or the little collar section, because this one's a mock. She has a full like turtleneck sweater essentially, but this will be a full thing. I got extra yarn for that one as well, but I have the most perfect green of all time and I'm very excited. I am mostly through partway. I'm about halfway through the main back increases, and then once I'm done with those, I have a lot more back increases to do, but I'm hoping to get the back increases done this week and then do the front. And then once it's in the round, I feel like it'll be able to go really fast because I won't really have to look at a pattern or count rows or anything. It'll just, I think, basically be knit until I am finished. The version that they have as a test knit is, again, it's half rib, or broken rib, not half rib, broken rib, and then it goes pretty far down, but it's still cropped. This one, I do want it cropped fairly high, so I won't need quite as much yarn. I do have 2 cakes. It's fingering held double. You can't even see it. Here we go. And so we'll just see. We're going to basically knit until I run out of yarn. And this is the Yarn Bliss box by Speckled Finch Studios. I got it in the Yarn Bliss box a couple years ago. And this one is called Fiber Friends, this colorway. So working it really beautifully. It's very much like a neutral. Oh, let me hold it the right way. There we go. There's the front. It is a neutral color, but it is working up really pretty. It has speckles of like pink and blue, and there's some like kind of bright oranges in there, and I've even seen some greens. So lots of fun colors, but you don't really see them until you're up close. Also, it looks a little funny right around the collar. I did put in a lifeline for the first time actually ever while knitting, and that's because I knit most of the arm and the yoke until you split the arms off for the armholes. And as I had been increasing, as you increase along, oh, there we go, you can see it right there. You increase all along kind of that arm ridge area, and so that's why it looks like stitches are kind of like coming off at an angle from there. And I did it according to pattern, and there ended up being like pretty big holes in places, and I knew that this is fixable because I made this in my first Musselburgh hat. And then I was also making it on my my straw cardigan. Watching a lot of One Piece recently. My straw cardigan. And I realized that I'd been making my increases like the opposite way or incorrectly. And one of the increases that they had you do is they had you do make one right and left. I knew those ones were correct because I've made those a bajillion times now. But the other one was a make one purl, and essentially it's just a make one right but from behind. And I was like, I'm pretty sure that's the one that's messing me up. So I went back and I just did make one rights and lefts. And you do them in short rows for a long time, so you're going back and forth. And that's when you do the make one purls. And so I just kind of flipped it. And I would do every time I was going this way, it would be make one right, and then make one left, and then knit to the next portion, make one right, make one left, and then I would switch, and then on the way back, I do the same thing, make one right, make one left. So they were still leaning the same way, at least from the front, or at least that's how it worked in my head. And it looks, like, it honestly looks fine. I can't really tell the difference. So yeah, that is this so far. It has been a lot of fun. I have loved knitting on it. Haven't had quite as much knitting time. My daughter, we have now swapped her. She is 6 months old today, actually. So we swapped her a couple days ago to her new schedule, which includes less nap time, it's great. She has more time awake to learn and explore, and she's getting kind of to the age where she needs more time awake. But less time for mama, and so I have to fit all of the chores that I need to get done into just a few hours that she is asleep. So I have not had quite as much knitting time at nights. Okay, and then the next project that I cast on is actually my new hat for this next month. So sorry, these ones were for May. No, it is April. Yeah. March and April were these hats. This is my hat for May, because May is coming up. Oh, I don't even know what day it is half the time. This is the Manhattan hat. I just blanked on the creator. Manhattan hat, Tori Yu, I believe, is who it is. Yeah, and it, essentially, you cast on stitches. You are supposed to cast them on in a specific way, but there's also an option not to do that. And I tried the way that was in the pattern, and I didn't love it because I was casting on while I was also watching my daughter. She's at the age too where she's like learning to play by herself and to entertain herself. And so while she was doing that and I was just watching her to make sure she was safe, I was casting on, and so I didn't really have the brain capacity to fully concentrate. So I just did a long tail cast on. Ended up with like a baby yarn tail, and then I did 2 rounds, so not a lot on here. This is the leftover yarn from Ruby and Roses. I'm trying to remember this exact color name. It was their Christmas collection a couple years ago, and I loved this color. I got a lot of it because I wanted to do the outline of the blanket in it, my Christmas blanket that I did with them, or with their yarn, and I did, and then I had a ton left over. I had 2.5 skeins left, and when Nitty Natty made this, she used 2 skeins of DK, or at least most of 2 skeins, so we will see how much I use in this one. And then the nice thing too is, and I'm doing the double folded brim because I want a lot of warmth. There's also a single folded brim and then a brimless option for this hat, so there's a lot of different options. I like the double folded look though, and so we will see how much yarn it uses. But the one bad thing about this yarn is it gets all over your fingers as you're knitting, and so you just kind of have to be aware of that. So that is this hat. And then lastly, I haven't quite cast it on, but I got it all put in the bag, Seed Stitch store in Bountiful. But the next one, I even like pulled the yarn out because I was gonna cast this on last night, and then me and my husband ended up playing a game instead. But yeah, this is 100 grams. This is Knit Circus, and this is their Divine DK, which is just superwash merino. And this one is Fear is the Mind Killer, so I was right. The Spice Must Flow is this colorway for Dune. This is the Fear is the Mind colorway, not colorway. And this is, I think I already said it, it's another Dune one. I have one more skein of Knit Circus color, and it is in the same color, the Spice Must Flow, and I want to knit the same hat, the Manhattan hat, in both of those for myself. So that is what I'm starting on. Those will be my next 2 hats. I think I want to have 2 hats going. Luckily this one's super easy. And I love the Musselburgh hat, but the thing that I hate most about it is the start, how you have to like have like 2 hours for a couple of days to cast on and get the increases done, and then it is just knitting stockinette for like days and days on end, and you can take it with you after that. But right now I don't have time for that because I have a baby and I have very limited time. We're getting ready to go on vacation soon, so there's a lot that has to be done. So I just wanted something still fairly easy that I could just kind of knit on, and this one is a ribbed hat, and so it is a little bit more work and it takes a little bit more time, but I think overall it'll still be just fine. It is funny, I have 3 ribbed projects then going on once this one gets cast on, and then yeah, which is funny because I had like 8 stockinette projects for a while, so that's kind of funny. Other than that, knitting plans and goals, they kind of have evolved and will still kind of evolve, I think, as the year goes on and my daughter's schedule gets like it'll change every few months just because of how much they grow. But number 1 priority of the month really is getting my Beetles Battenberg. It's so big now I get to put it in the Beetles bag that Wool and Vinyl sent me. But getting these squares done and added, and we're doing, technically it's 2 rows, but I'm calling it 1 row a month. So it's making 41 squares and then adding 41. So essentially it's 82 squares and adding them in per month. And when it's just the squares, it is a really easy take on the go project. That's why I have the squares in a separate pouch, because I can just pull that and go, at least for the first little bit. So that is kind of the number 1 priority. Number 2 is getting one of my hats finished, or at least getting both of them to at least the halfway point, and then I'll finish them up next month. But I do want to make 1 hat a month essentially for the year. Next priority is getting this finished and off the needles. The next couple weeks, like I said, I think I can get it to the body where it's just working, hopefully in the round. I need to look. I haven't looked at that far ahead in the pattern yet. But yeah, hopefully this week we can get that done. So hopefully by the end of the month, this one is done, or at least almost done. And then the next couple things that I am focusing on, because I have been like really motivated to kind of start to clear these random projects that I have either caked up or just have sitting around. I want to get them cleared out so that I have just a little bit more space for things I actually really want to knit. Not that I don't want to like knit these projects, but I have had a lot of these skeins in my stash for a while, and a lot of them are kind of like random skeins. So trying to get those out so that I can work on kind of the bigger projects and packs again. But then after that, it's going to be, I'm going to cast on, once this one is done, we are going to cast on the Sophie hood, which is essentially, it's a long scarf with a hood at the top. If you have stayed off the internet for any length of time, it is one of the patterns that went pretty viral while I was like pregnant and on maternity leave, so that's why I kind of like stayed blind to it. But I saw someone knit it up fairly recently, and it was actually Passionate Kelsey. She knit it up, or at least I watched a video where she knit it up fairly, oh, it was for Christmas, so it was recently. Or at least recently for me, because everything is a blur, so that happens with the baby. But anyways, I am going to cast that one on. That's going to be my next kind of different project than hats and blankets. And then the other one I want to do, but I need to give my hands a break, is the other Wool and the Gang sweater. And that one I think I can still get done pretty quickly. That one, though, will be one that I need a little bit more space and just time to sit down, because it is knit in Tarja. And so you have to twist the yarn balls and have a little bit more space so that they don't all get like mixed up. Which generally their patterns, like even the blanket that I was knitting, it used no more than like 3 at a time, 3 colors, and so it won't be like that bad. But it is still one where you do have to have a little bit more space and kind of like mental capacity for that. But those, hopefully I at least have that cast on by the end of May, if I am getting this one finished first, and then I will cast kind of those 2 next projects on. Yeah, and so that's kind of a look ahead. And then once those are done, I am going to start casting on all of the straw cardigans in the top of my closet. And so that's kind of my motivation for clearing out these 3 kind of like, they're projects that have been in limbo, I would say, for a while. Yeah, and so we'll kind of get that a little more cleared out. Other things that I will probably just grab and work on when I'm feeling like in the mood is the Wooble kits. I still have a bunch of those that I do want to get done. A lot of them are just very easy, and you don't really have to count too many rows. I can usually make all the parts for one Wooble in an hour, and then sewing them on, it usually only takes me like 20-30 minutes to do it, but I hate it, and so I put it off for a while. But at least making the packs and then like sewing them all up at the end of the month or after a couple weeks is something I can kind of just grab and do a little bit. But yeah, so that's knitting, kind of like looking ahead for the next month, and then what I'm working on here. My row 1 blanket is still going to be worked on. It's just not my top priority right now, because I do want to get some of these other ones kind of cleared out a little bit. I think once those 3 kind of like limbo projects are done, I will probably start to knit on this quite a bit more. Yeah, it is getting to the point though where it is bigger and bulkier, and so it does take, like, I can't just grab it on the go like I could when it was just a single strip or 2 strips even. And that's the same with my Sweet Shop blanket. It is like super long. I think I only have 1 or 2 more squares to add. I need to go back to my notes. Luckily, I was taking very good notes of that one. But yeah, the Sweet Shop blanket will probably stay in the closet for a while until either the Beatles blanket is like at a really good kind of like halfway point, or until my row 1 blanket gets to a kind of more decent stopping point as well, or at least break point, and then I can kind of go back and forth between the two. But yeah, those 3 blanket projects are going to be very long term. I don't expect to get any of them done within the year. My goal for the Beatles one, I said at the beginning of the year, was to get about halfway done. And if I do 2 skeins, or 1 row as I'm calling it, a month, I will meet that goal. And so we are staying on track so far. And then, yeah, the other thing is just getting rid of those random skeins, which is why I am making so many hats this year. Also good for presents, so I will have some presents I can give away as well at the end, at Christmas time. So that is fun as well, because we get to kind of start thinking about that super early in the year. But yeah, so that's knitting plans and kind of goals for the next at least month, and then I'll probably do that again next month as well. Yeah, like I said, I've been super motivated to kind of clear things out. I think I am in a little bit of like spring cleaning mode. I've been wanting to like just clean things out, and I think a lot of that too is last year I wasn't really able to do a lot of that because I was so sick, and I do usually in the springtime like to go through just certain areas of the house, or at least the areas that I've gotten a little overwhelmed with things throughout the year. And part of that is my yarn stash. It has been for a while, but I think really recently, having all this like baby stuff now, I'm like, I need to get certain areas cleared out so I do have some yarn. I'm in her room right now, in her closet. I need to get cleared out. It's just one bag sitting at the top, but I'm like, if I can get the wool and gang stuff cleared out there, or one thing in the hallway closet cleared out, which is where I put like my works in progress generally, I can move that yarn out of her closet and into where my stash is supposed to be. So that is part of the motivation behind that, I think. Yeah, other than that, I guess we can go over what have we watched. I think Project Hail Mary was last month. So yeah, but that was a good movie. No, yeah, because I don't think we did a date night this month. Yeah, and that was a date night. Okay, so Project Hail Mary we watched, I think, last month. But if we didn't, we enjoyed it. Rocky is super cute, and I want one. Even though it's a make-believe alien and they don't exist. But love Rocky. It's weird because like we don't really go and see movies anymore. We did watch I forgot what it was called on Netflix, but it was a follow-up like FLDS documentary about, his name was like Samuel something. Really, really sad what happened to those girls. I am a member of the LDS Church. The FLDS Church we do not like and we do not associate with. They're gross and weird, and they, it's kind of like Catholicism, and then a branch broke off and kind of like contorted it, and then it's like its own religion now. That's essentially what FLDS is to the LDS Church. But yeah, they do a lot of weird things. They still follow polygamy, which to us, we're like, you keep that away. We don't want that. Don't like that time in our church. Don't like to talk about it or think about it, even though it did happen. But it's so weird to like think that people still practice that. And it's disgusting and gross because they're doing it to children, and that's not okay at all. But yeah, that was a very interesting documentary, very well done because it was done from the perspective of like the documentarian, and what she was doing to help out these girls, which really incredible. That one was pretty good. We're rewatching Dirty Money, which is the Jeffrey Epstein one, because Swoop just released her Jeffrey Epstein documentary on YouTube. Really amazing. It goes over more in depth like how he got his money, which basically was just grifting a bunch of people. And then, like, he was smart, but he didn't finish college, and he somehow got like all these really prestigious jobs almost. But yeah, very interesting. But we went back and watched Dirty Money because my husband hadn't seen it, and then I will go rewatch Swoop Doc with him. Give her more views because she deserves that. But yeah, so again, horrible and disgusting, and makes me so bad that those men still hold power and have authority over basically, well, yeah, over the entire American people because our president is on that list. Really sad and scary, but yeah, just interesting things to like be aware of in the world. Other things that we watched: One Piece. We are in Wano. We are where they're finally fighting Kaido. So yay. It's there's a lot of like One Piece is awesome, and I didn't really realize this until I like my husband watched it and read the manga, but there is a lot of like filler, and I just didn't really notice it because I'm just somebody, if I'm entertained, like I like it. My husband is definitely more critical at watching media and consuming media. Um, but yeah, so that was kind of his take on it. But he still enjoys it. There's just, if there's a lot of filler, he just wants to kind of skip over it. But yeah, so that's been fun to watch together. And then we've also been playing Reanimal together. That is a game, a co-op game made by the same people that made Little Nightmares. Really unsettling. A lot of the like I definitely wouldn't recommend it for younger people, but the visuals are really gross and like it's almost like body horror in a way. And like animal body horror as well, like very kind of weird contorted creatures. But that's been a ton of fun to work through it, and we're actually almost done with it, and we've only been playing it a couple days, so we're kind of sad about that. But that's okay, because I think the new Lego Batman game comes out soon, and we are very excited to play that as well. Other things that we there was a little bit of time where we went back and was playing Overwatch, and then we started playing competitive because we're like, okay, we feel good again, and then we played competitive and we're like, this is why we hate this game, and so we stopped playing, and went back to playing Marvel Rivals, and we're in a spot where like we love the game and it's awesome, but we also made it, we do competitive with that, and we're in, what is it, platinum right now, we believe, and like we know that we are good enough to be in probably diamond or higher lobbies, but we're in like what they call elo hell, where you'll go kind of on like a 2 or 3 game winning streak and like put out like crazy numbers, and then they will like put you with people that just downloaded the game basically and don't know how to play, and they put you against like grandmasters, which are like really really good players, and so it's like it's really hard to win those games, almost impossible I would say, especially if your team doesn't know how to shoot the gun. So that's been, it was a little frustrating. We took a break, that's why we're playing Reanimal. We'll probably go back to playing that later this week though. But yeah, that's a fun one as well. That's kind of what we've been doing media wise. Baby's been doing fine. She's almost crawling now. She's like, we call it army crawling because she kind of like scoots around. She's starting to like actually teeth. Her gums are getting pretty red and starting to swell a little bit. So probably within the next couple weeks we will see her first teeth, which is exciting. Yeah, and then we started solids with her, so that's been fun. A lot of work actually. I decided that I was gonna make her solid foods, her purees and stuff, which I still think is like one of the best choices I've made. Super easy and so cheap. For the first little bit, we literally have just been doing sweet potato was like what we did at first. So we just got like 2 or 3 sweet potatoes. It was so quick. You peel them, cut them up, put them in a steamer for a couple hours, and then once they're done, we just blended them up with some veggie broth. You can do chicken broth, but I am a vegan and she hasn't had any animal products ever, including when she was in my belly. So we're sticking to like vegan food only essentially, until like she decides to eat it herself, I guess. We just don't want her getting sick, or anything, because we don't know the risks of that. But she can still get all the nutrients from a vegan diet, so that's nice. She's still super healthy. She actually goes in and gets her next round of shots in a couple days. So that will be a little bit of work. We're very excited because there is a measles outbreak right now and in Utah. And and she gets to get her first MMR vaccine with the last like round of her like very infant shots. So very excited about that, because then I won't like worry as much. I'll feel a little bit better about going out with her and staying at church longer with her. So that we are very excited for. It is just scary. You just don't know who's vaccinated and who's not, because anti-vaccine for some reason like is bigger than you would expect. And I don't want her getting measles or mumps because we went to the grocery store with her. So it will be a lot, or it's gonna be very exciting to like be able to go out as a family a little bit more and go out to like eat food, especially now that she's at the age she can kind of start trying certain foods. So very excited about that. But yeah, anyways, back to baby food. Yeah, and then we just pureed sweet potatoes with veggie broth, and then there was so much, we're able to like freeze it for a month, get these little glass jars, pre-portion it, and she loves it. A lot of people online said that babies don't really like solids, especially like when they try a new one for the first like 3 to 5 times of trying it, average of 4 times of trying it. But first time, she ate all of it, every bite. She loves it. We made her like a little smoothie then. We went and got a mango, strawberry, and blueberry smoothie, blended it up with banana, and we give it to her, and she loves that so much too. Eats all of it. I was wondering if like the strawberry was going to be, or even the mango was going to be a little too tart for her, but nope, she just eats it up. We've done cauliflower and carrots together. She loves that. And then I did make a green bell pepper without seeds or anything, and rice mash, but the rice grains ended up still being a little big, so I froze that one. We're waiting until she can kind of chew and mash at foods and is a little better at swallowing before giving that one to her. But yeah, we'll probably do like a broccoli mash here in a little bit. And I know I love green beans, so we might even do green beans soon as well. Kind of just start rotating through those and giving her some different options, but she has loved it. It is a mess. When they start eating food that is a mess. We are doing like part self-led weaning, part just feeding purees and stuff. She's at the point now though where I will load up the spoon and then she wants to grab it and feed herself already. So that is like already going really well. We did at the beginning though, just give her an avocado. We let her hold the slice and kind of gnaw at it. At that point though, it was like when she was first learning how to eat, and so she didn't really understand. She did really good with the banana though when we did the banana with her. But yeah, so that was fun. If you want more on, I guess, like baby food content, because I know that's big on TikTok and stuff. There's a lot over there. I would love to try to make a video, but I don't want to make it if it's gonna clog my own channel up, you know. But yeah, it's been very interesting and a whole new challenge, but a lot of fun. But the feeding itself takes a long time. It probably takes an extra like 20 minutes between setting her up, because you have to put her whole bib on, get her in the high chair safely, and then get her eating. And then feeding takes a while because she spits half of it out. That's just what babies do, because they'll take a big bite and then they'll realize that's too much and spit it out. And then it is such a mess. The cleanup, I think, is almost the longest part. You have to clean them almost top to bottom. Most nights she needs like just a rinse off in the bathtub because she gets out like caked. Even though we have a whole body bib, basically, she still gets it all in her neck from drooling and all of it getting in there. But it's been really fun to see her learn to love food, especially because me and my husband love it. Yeah, that's kind of really the big milestones, I guess, with baby. Oh, the one thing I should say is we did introduce baby food. We started at about 5 months. Our pediatrician said we could start at 4 months because she was showing all the correct signs that she was ready for it. We still waited because I do know that the AAP recommends 6 months. But talk to your pediatrician if you wanted to start early, to see if they recommend it or if they recommend waiting, because they do have to, your baby has to be at a certain point before it is safe for them to start learning to swallow foods other than milk. Yeah, so I guess that's kind of what we're dealing with baby, but she's doing great. Yeah. And I guess until then, you guys stay safe out there. Enjoy knitting. It's nice and rainy the last couple of days, so I actually love the rain, so I want to go out and like go on a couple walks today, but I know that it feels very cozy and very like, it's nice vibes. So I just want to bundle up in the corner and knit all day, which I unfortunately cannot do, but it's been fun to do that for a little while. But stay safe and we will see you in a month. Bye bye.